Hello everyone. This story is about, what if Naruto saves Yugito and start traveling together? They meet many people and fight many enemies. Relying on each other they fall in love. Please like, share and subscribe for more. Let's start. It was the next morning and Yugito was currently taking a stroll around the village. She wanted to see more of the village and also needed to buy a few supplies. As she was walking, she thought about the day prior. Sakura hadn't talked to her since then, completely giving her the cold shoulder. It's not my fault, the only skill she has is brute strength. She then noticed she was coming up to that delicious ramen bar at Taraku's and just as she thought, saw Naruto sitting inside. I could definitely go for some ramen right now. As she approached, her sharp senses picked up on someone who seemed to be spying on Naruto. She examined the culprit from a distance and saw that it was a girl with a large jacket and dark hair. Who is she and why is she staring at him like that? Just then the girl decided to try to make a move and walked towards Ichiraku's. Yugito now was the spy as she hid behind a wall across the street to get a better view. Hinata nervously walked up to the blonde currently eating. Since Naruto left, she, with the help of Niji, was able to get her father to recognize that she is a strong girl and eventually built up her confidence within herself. But it would seem she still hadn't killed her nervousness when it came to Naruto. Naruto looked up from his bowl as he noticed someone enter and sit down next to him. He then recognized just exactly who it was. Hey Hinata. Wow, I almost didn't recognize you, you sure have changed, greeted Naruto as he put down his bowl. Hinata's pink tinge darkened a bit due to the boy. Hello Naruto-kun, it's nice to have you back, she said quietly. Thanks, it's good to be back, exclaimed the blonde as he took a mouthful of ramen. He swallowed and looked back at Hinata and noticed how much she did change, especially her chest. He quickly shook that thought away and noticed she was looking at him but not saying anything. So he decided to try to start up a conversation. I see you grew your hair out, it looks a lot nicer that way. Hinata immediately blushed, that was the first compliment the blonde had ever given her on her looks. And maybe he is interested, she thought hopefully. Thank you Naruto-kun. I was hoping I would look better this way. Naruto quirked an eyebrow, what for? You were always pretty Hinata, replied Naruto. What, she thought, well I wanted the boy I liked to notice me. But I'm pretty sure any guy would kill to go out with you, you should just ask whoever it is Hinata, replied Naruto. Hinata turned a bit redder, tell him? Should I? Of course I should, he's right, she thought. Meanwhile, Yugito continued to watch them talk, more specifically the dark-haired girl. She watched as the unknown girl kept blushing and couldn't help the feeling of jealousy. She never was or thought to be the jealous type, but standing there, watching Naruto talk to this girl whose intentions were obvious was killing Yugito. She was so focused on the ramen stand that she failed to notice she too now had a stalker for a few minutes now. Looks like Blondie over there has gotten pretty popular with the ladies, thought a certain special jounin smirking as she glanced at Naruto and the Hyuga girl, then back to Yugito. I wonder who this one is though, she continued watching as Yugito seemingly got angrier and angrier. Yugito was currently grinding her teeth when she heard someone land right behind her suddenly. Quickly getting out of her trance, she spun around to come face to face with an older girl with short purple hair whom was smirking at her. You know I couldn't help but notice you glaring daggers at the Hyuga girl over there with Blondie. Her smirk grew when Yugito became flustered. What? I don't know what you're talking about, replied Yugito quickly. Unless you want those two shacking up together, I suggest you do something about it, Gaki advised Anko as she watched Yugito glance back at the two in the ramen bar. Naruto was laughing at who knows what and Hinata kept getting redder. What should I do? Asked Yugito turning back to Anko. Simple, just go sit down with them and chat, replied Anko smirking. Why are you helping me? Asked Yugito confused that this woman would help someone new like her. No reason, said Anko as she pushed Yugito out into the street before vanishing to spy from a different location on a roof. Other than I just love this type of shit. Yugito gathered herself together and began approaching the ramen stand. That woman was right, I have to do something. I can't stand the thought of Naruto-kun with another girl. Yugito entered and sat down on the other side of Naruto. Hey Naruto. Naruto turned away from Hinata and saw his fellow host. Oh hey Yugito, come for some more ramen, he greeted and asked happily. Yeah. It really is tasty, she replied, glancing quickly over at the other girl for a moment. And Naruto-kun, who is this? Asked Hinata. This is Yugito, she traveled with me while I was away, answered Naruto. And Yugito, this is Hinata, she's from my academy graduating class. How long did you two travel together? Asked Hinata worriedly. Naruto traveling with a pretty girl like this was not a good thing at all. Probably for almost a year, right Yugito? Asked Naruto. About that, replied Yugito. Well, I gotta go and meet up with Kurenai-sensei. It was nice seeing you and Naruto-kun, she said as she got up and left, not saying anything to Yugito. I finally get the courage to talk to him, but he was with that girl for almost a year. I heard that even Sakura is interested in him. What should I do? Thought Hinata as she kept walking. Wow, well that sucked. Could the Hyuga girl have left any quicker? Thought Anko as she sighed. She was hoping for sparks to be flying and all kinds of fun stuff. And what do you think you're doing now, Anko? Muttered a voice from behind the snake wielder. Just looking around for some fun, you know me Yuga-chan, replied Anko. Yugao just rolled her eyes behind her mask. But what are you doing? Asked the Anbu Kunoichi. Down there, said Anko pointing towards the ramen shop. Naruto and Yugito? Asked Yugao. You know who she is? Asked Anko questioningly. Of course, Tsunade-sama informed the Anbu about her. She's originally from Kumo, but traveled with Naruto for a good portion of his training trip with Jiraiya-sama, explained Yugao to her friend. I see. A few minutes ago, Naruto was there with Hinata, while Yugito hid around the corner glaring daggers at the Hyuga. Couldn't pass up the chance to try to drum up some action around here, said Anko. But sadly Hinata left, so now it's just those two. I wouldn't get your hopes down so much if I were you, Anko. From what I can see, Naruto has become quite the looker. I'm sure others will make attempts at him, said Yugao. Anyways, I got to get back to my post. Don't cause too much trouble, Anko-chan, she said as she vanished. Anko pouted. That would be boring though. She turned her head back to the gakis. I need more information. Back at Itaraku's. Is that Hinata girl one of your good friends here? She sure seems odd, asked Yugito, now that she was alone with Naruto. I really don't know her that well. It's just like you said, she's an odd one. She always fainted when she was near me before, that was actually the longest she lasted without fainting, thought Naruto. I see, replied Yugito. I guess I got to watch out for her then, at least they're not together. So what have you been doing today, Yugito? Asked Naruto, wondering how she was holding up so far in her new home. Just shopping, I needed to get a few things for my room, she replied. Are you getting along well with Sakura and Ino? Asked Naruto, curiously. He was hoping she would make some more friends that were other girls. Yeah, we are, she lied. I got to get going, Naruto. I still need to get a few things, she said. Oh okay, if you need anything Yugito, just ask me, you know I'm here for you, he replied with a smile. I know, thank you, she replied with her own smile as she left. I hate not telling him the truth. But he's done so much for me already, I don't want to burden him with my problems with Sakura, she thought as she walked back towards her apartment. Anko decided to follow the girl some more. She was a little mad that Yugito hadn't even asked Naruto out or anything. She had no clue why Yugito and Hinata would stalk Naruto, but then not even make an effort to try for him, it was ridiculous. Anko watched as Yugito walked up to a house pulling out some keys to open the door before she entered. Wait, isn't that Sakura and Ino's house? Just as she thought that, Sakura and Ino emerged from the house and began walking away. Maybe if I follow them I can find out some dirt around here, thought Anko as she too walked out on the streets to tail the two kunoichi, close enough for her to hear what they were saying. Sakura, why are you giving Yugito the cold shoulder? She seems pretty nice, asked Ino, confused about her pink-haired friend. You know how I told you that I'm over Sasuke? Asked Sakura, receiving a nod from Ino. Well, I did some soul searching and realized how stupid I was to not have noticed what was right in front of me. You mean Naruto? Asked Ino. Yeah, I decided that if he came back and wasn't as much of a baka that I could give him a try, answered Sakura. And now that you met Naruto, you like him? Asked Ino, shocked. She didn't think Sakura would be attracted to someone like Naruto. Ino, you'll understand when you see him. But anyway, he met Yugito during his trip and traveled around with her for who knows how long. I'm pretty sure she too likes him, replied Sakura. Now I get it. But doesn't Naruto like you? Asked Ino. I'm not sure. He does still call me Sakura-chan, and I don't recall him adding chan to her name, answered Sakura. But he also hasn't asked me out, like he always did before. I don't know what you're going to do, but I'll help you since you're my best friend, but try not to make it too awkward with Yugito. She is living with us, you know, said Ino as they continued walking. I'll try not to, though I won't guarantee anything. But thanks, Ino. Why don't you ask him out? Asked Ino. Yeah, I'm going to, I just need to find the right time to ask him. Bingo. Now that's what I'm looking for, thought Anko with a smirk. Finally she found a girl who had the guts to ask Foxboy out. She decided she had heard enough and walked the other way so that the two young kunoichi wouldn't catch on to her. So we got 3 girls after 1 gaki, now which one do I help? Pondered Anko as she began walking back to the torture and interrogation department of Konoha. The Hyuga? Nah, she's way too timid to have any fun with. Sakura could be fun, but she seems to already have the advantage, so that wouldn't be fun either. Anko's smirk grew. Then it's settled, I'll help out that Yugito girl. I did like the way she glared at little Miss Hyuga. She does have potential, she began chuckling to herself as passerbys got out of her way, not wanting to get involved with the likes of a chuckling and smirking Anko. The next morning Naruto woke up to a knocking on his door. He slowly got up, throwing some clothes on, and opened the door to see an ANBU. Hokage-sama needs you to report to her office for a mission, said the ANBU, before vanishing. Naruto's sleepy mood immediately perked at the thought of a mission. It's been too long since his last. He left his apartment after a quick bowl of instant ramen. After a few minutes of walking, he felt a hand come down on his shoulder. He turned to see who it was and came face to face with. "Ah! You're that crazy lady," shouted Naruto, pointing at Anko. "Oh? You already think I'm crazy without any one-on-one with me?" "I'm flattered," replied Anko with a smirk as she gave Naruto a glance over, causing him to blush. "No wonder you're getting so much attention, Gaki, or should I call you Naruto-kun since you're obviously all grown up," she said as she put her arm around his shoulder. "So where is a fine young man like you going at this time, huh?" Naruto hadn't been this nervous since he first met Zabuza. He had an incredibly hot older woman hanging on him and teasing him. "I have a mission, Anko-san," he stuttered out. You don't have to be so formal with me, Naruto-kun, you can call me anything you want," she whispered in his ear. Naruto didn't know whether he should be turned on or scared for his life. Anko." Huh, that's when he noticed she was gone and people were just staring at him like he was retarded as he stood in the middle of the street, red as a tomato, muttering to himself. He quickly snapped out of it and ran towards the tower, confused. Naruto entered the Hokage's office and noticed the rest of his team. "I'm here, so what's the mission, Bachan?" And he was immediately hit in the head with a flying book. Tsunade muttered brat before explaining, "Now that you all are here, I'll inform you of your mission. You are to escort the daughter of the T country's daimyo back to her home, it's AB rank. Any questions?" When she received head shakes, she called the girl in. The girl entered, whom appeared to be around the same age as Naruto and Sakura. She had long flowing light blue hair and purple eyes, light-colored skin, and was dressed in a dark purple yukata with intricate pink designs. She proceeded to introduce herself. "Hello Konoha Shinobi, my name is Kimi, and I'm very grateful for all of your help." Tsunade did the introductions for her ninja. The tall masked one is the squad leader, Hatake Kakashi. Kakashi smiled and waved. The 2 girls are Haruno Sakura and Ni Yugito. Sakura glared at the beautiful princess while Yugito smiled politely. "And the brat is Uzumaki." Naruto finished Tsunade, ignoring Naruto's protests about being called a brat in front of a princess. Kimi giggled. "It's okay, I can tell by the way you look that you're really strong, Naruto," she said, giving him a wink. Naruto instantly blushed, hee, of course. I'm going to be the Hokage one day, he declared to the girl, getting a few eye rolls from the others in the room. Not if you keep standing here, get going already, said Tsunade, ushering them out of her office. Few minutes later outside the village. The group was currently on the road making their way towards Tea Country. Kakashi and Naruto lead while the girls were behind them. Sakura and Yugito were both currently glaring at Kimi, who made it quite obvious that her gaze kept drifting towards Naruto's behind. Kakashi glanced back at the girls. I know this contradicts what I said about putting girls together, but it's either that or either myself or Naruto gets thrown to the wolves, he thought, wanting to protect himself and Naruto from the horrors that lie within a group of girls who just about despise each other. Later that night, they were about halfway to their destination and decided to camp out for the night. Naruto was on first guard while everyone else got ready for bed. Sakura and Yugito were reluctantly both forced to share a tent while Kakashi and Naruto shared one and Kimi had her own. Naruto was currently sitting by a tree keeping watch when he noticed Kimi approaching. Hey Kimi, I thought you went to bed, asked Naruto. Kimi shook her head, no, I'm not tired yet. Do you mind if I sit with you? She asked, sitting down next to Naruto when he shook his head. What's it like being a ninja? Asked Kimi, looking over at Naruto. Well, it's hard with all the training and dangerous missions, but I love it, replied Naruto. You must be incredibly brave to handle all those dangers, huh, Naruto-kun? She asked, smiling at him. Yeah, I guess I am, he stuttered out, scratching the back of his head, laughing. And humble, too, she commented, causing Naruto to blush a little. She rested her head on his shoulder. I'm glad I got someone like you to escort me home, Naruto-kun, she said quietly, before drifting off to sleep on his shoulder. Naruto was frozen. What the heck should I do here? I don't want to disturb her just yet, but if someone catches me like this, I'm dead. After 2 hours of nervous hell, Kakashi came to Naruto's rescue as he took over the watch, allowing Naruto to carry the now sleeping princess to her tent. The next day they made it to the Tea Country's capital and were saying goodbye to Kimi. Well, thanks for escorting me, all of you, she thanked them, then turned to Naruto. And thank you, Naruto-kun, for staying with me and helping me sleep the other night, she said, giving a wink as he blushed. What? Shouted both Sakura and Yugito in their heads. Kakashi just sweat dropped. Anytime, Kimi-chan, replied Naruto nervously, but blushed tenfold when the princess leaned in and kissed him on the cheek before heading into her home. Naruto laughed nervously. Alright, time to go home, he said, turning around and leaving, followed by Kakashi, whom looked back at the two still shocked girls and sighed. Later that night, they once again hit the halfway point and decided to camp out again. As they were eating, Sakura decided to ask the question both her and Yugito were curious about and dreading. So Naruto, what was Kimi talking about when we dropped her off and she thanked you? She asked nervously. She hoped he didn't do what it sounded like Kimi was impying. But then again, he was with Jiraiya for 2.5 years, so. At least she thought he was with Jiraiya the entire time. Oh, that. Naruto said nervously. Kakashi sighed again. He knew nothing happened, but the way Naruto said that only made the two girls become even more nervous. I was keeping watch, then she came over and talked to me for a little bit, then fell asleep on my shoulder. Then Kakashi came, so I was able to put her in her tent and go to sleep, explained Naruto. So you didn't? Asked Sakura cautiously. Did what? Asked Naruto, confused. You didn't have sex with her then? Asked Sakura. Naruto chalked on his fish. What are you talking about? No, I didn't have sex with her. I'm not like Erosenin, retorted Naruto. Yugito let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. Sorry for thinking you were, replied Sakura. She too was very relieved. A little while later, Naruto found himself once again taking first watch, but this time up on a branch in a large tree. And once again someone decided to approach him. This time it was Sakura. Hey Naruto, she greeted as she walked towards the tree he was in. Hey Sakura, you need something? He asked, looking down at her. I came to ask you something. You know how before you left you were always asking me out, said Sakura. Yeah, replied Naruto, wondering where she was going with this. Well, while you were gone, I realized I made a lot of mistakes back then. A big one was declining those offers. She looked up at him and continued. That's why I want to know if you would still like to go out with me when we get back, she asked, hoping he would say yes. Naruto was a little shocked. The girl he was always after is here before him asking for a date. He didn't really know what to think. He always liked Sakura, but now he also liked Yugito. But why would Yugito want to go out with me? She's older than me, and is like the prettiest girl around. No way would she see me like that, he thought, then decided on an answer. Sure Sakura, I'd like that, he said with a smile. Sakura cheered in her head. I promise I'll make all my wrongs up to you, good night. Naruto-kun, she said as she turned around to back to her tent. However, inside said tent rested another blonde jinchuriki who possessed heightened senses as she clenched her fist around her blanket while a lone tear fell from her eye. The next morning Team 7 made it back home to Konoha and gave Tsunade the mission report. After leaving the tower, the first place they reached was Sakura and Yugito's house. Kakashi had already left. I guess I'll see you both later, said Naruto as he was about to leave. Wait, said Sakura suddenly as she unlocked the door. Yugito stormed into the house, leaving Naruto and Sakura outside. Naruto blinked confusedly at Yugito's retreat, then turned to Sakura. What is it, Sakura-chan? Sakura blushed. About our date, is it alright if we do it tomorrow? You can pick me up at 7? Sure thing, Sakura-chan, Naruto replied, smiling. Try to wear something different too, she joked as she went inside her home. After she closed the door, Naruto turned around and headed towards his apartment. Sakura! Was that Naruto? Shouted Ino as she came running down the stairs inside their home. You saw him just now? Asked Sakura walking into the living room. Yeah, I heard you guys and looked out the window, and I couldn't believe that was Naruto. He's changed so much, said Ino, amazed that Naruto went from a runt to a hottie. Sakura smiled. I told you so, and you better back off too. I got a date with him tomorrow night. See, I told you, he still likes you, replied Ino, happily hugging her best friend. As hard as she tried, Yugito couldn't stop crying as she listened to the two friends outside her room. I knew it. I knew he didn't like me like that. Back in Takigakure, I was just fooling myself into thinking he did. We were traveling together, so of course we would attend the festival together. We were stuck together then. I was so happy that I fooled myself into believing he had feelings for me. Remember Sakura, he's Jiraiya's apprentice, so don't go unprepared, he might just woo you into scoring a home run, joked Ino, causing Sakura to go red. Ino, shouted Sakura as she chased her blonde friend up the stairs, laughing. Naruto's done so much for me that I should be happy that he's got the girl he likes. I'm so selfish, thought Yugito as she cried herself to sleep. You are too naive, Kitten. A few hours later, Naruto was resting on his bed, thinking everything over. He was happy that Sakura wanted to go out with him finally, but he thought he should be more excited about it. He had felt his chest tighten when Yugito had left them so abruptly without saying a word when he dropped them off earlier. His thoughts, however, were interrupted by knocking on the door. Gaki! Open up, yelled the voice of Jiraiya as he banged on his apprentice's door. Naruto opened it, noticing both Jiraiya and Kakashi standing there. What are you both doing here? Asked Naruto, confused as he just got off from a mission. Well, we wanted to know if you wanted to go get some ramen with us, asked Jiraiya, watching his student carefully. He heard of the events during the mission from Kakashi. Sure, let's go, replied Naruto as he walked out the door and began walking towards Ichiraku's. Jiraiya looked over at Kakashi, who just shrugged and followed Naruto. Soon they arrived and placed their orders. Both Jiraiya and Kakashi realized Naruto must be really confused about something due to his lack of excitement, even though he was about to eat ramen. So Naruto, what are you doing tomorrow? Asked Kakashi. He heard him and Sakura talk about the date already. I got a date with Sakura-chan, replied Naruto as his eyes stared at the ramen counter. I see. With how long you've been asking her, I thought you would be jumping all over the place in excitement, said Kakashi, gauging Naruto's reaction. I thought so too. I mean, I'm happy about it, but you're right, I'm not as excited as I thought I'd be, explained Naruto. Naruto, when a man finally wins over the girl he's after, there is no better feeling, yet you obviously aren't acting the way you should if Sakura is indeed that girl, explained Jiraiya. Perhaps another girl has found her way into your heart? Is it Yugito? Asked Kakashi. At hearing her name, Naruto flinched again, remembering how she left him and Sakura earlier. It appears you guessed right, Kakashi, stated Jiraiya. But she doesn't like me, retorted Naruto, as both of his senseis turned to him. Why would you think that, Gaki? Asked Jiraiya. Why? She's like the most beautiful girl in Konoha, and could have any guy she wanted. She sees me as a friend, and I don't want to lose that by asking her out when she would clearly say no, said Naruto, frustrated. You may have grown in some ways, but you're still a baka, said Jiraiya, causing Naruto to clench his fists. Naruto, said Kakashi, you do know that you not only have Sakura after you now, but you have Hinata as well? They are both attractive girls, so why wouldn't Yugito be interested in you? What? Hinata likes me? Asked Naruto, shocked. She's been stalking you ever since I've known you, Gaki. That's what I mean when I say you're a baka. You don't have a clue when it comes to women, said Jiraiya. From watching Yugito so far, I'm quite sure she likes you too, Naruto, said Kakashi with a smile. Are you serious? Asked Naruto. If Yugito really did like him, then he might just actually start jumping around the village. But are you sure she likes me? Well, we got time, Gaki. Why don't you tell us about your time together after you rescued her from Akatsuki? Asked Jiraiya. Sure, said Naruto as he got ready to inform them of his journeys with Yugito. He told them about how they first met and then, after he rescued her, and telling her that he too was a host. When he got to and finished explaining the whole Takigakure incident, the whole festival was news to Jiraiya since Naruto left that part out during his first explanation. When he was done, Kakashi was looking at him dumbly and Jiraiya looked like he was going to burst, which he did. You baka. I was sure she liked you before, but now I'm positive. You have got to be the densest person I know. Not even your father was this bad with Kushina. Naruto shrunk in his seat. So you really think she likes me? Naruto, it sounds like she's probably liked you for months, stated Kakashi. But what should I do about Sakura? Asked Naruto. He felt so much lighter now that both his senseis were sure Yugito liked him too, but what about Sakura? From what I remember, she had no problem turning you down before, Naruto. I wouldn't worry too much about it, said Jiraiya. But I don't want to hurt her feelings, said Naruto, worried. Even though Sakura is also one of my students, in all honesty, she was a bitch to you, so I wouldn't worry about it either, if I were you, said Kakashi, shocking Naruto. Wow, I never heard you talk like that before, Kakashi-sensei, said Naruto, shocked that his sensei cursed. Well, you guys were little kids back then, so I had to be careful, he replied with a smile. Anyways, Naruto, why don't you just relax and come hang out with me and Kakashi at the hot springs tomorrow night? Sakura will never find you with us, said Jiraiya, hoping Naruto would say yes. What? No, I'm going to take Sakura out and get it over with, then I'll talk to Yugito, said Naruto, getting up and leaving. Kakashi shook his head. Baka. Jiraiya threw his head back. Damn, and we almost recruited him to our side too. Sakura and Ino's house. Yugito was still on her bed. She had stopped crying a while ago, but was currently still very depressed. For many years, she was alone until Naruto saved her. Even now in Konoha, Naruto was the only person she had close to her. But now he was going out with their other teammate, who has treated her like nothing but trash. She wished she could sew something, anything. Yugito. There's someone at the door for you, shouted Ino. Yugito wondered who could be at the door. She wasn't sure if she could look at Naruto right now. She slowly got up and exited her room. She immediately noticed the same purple-haired women from earlier at the door with Ino. Hey Yugito. I wanted to speak with you for a moment, asked Anko as Yugito walked up to them. Anko glared at Ino, causing her to quickly let the two have some privacy as she went up to her room. Yugito looked at her confused. What do you need me for? Anko, said the interrogator. I wanted to invite you over with a few other friends of mine, she offered. I don't really feel like going out right now, she said sadly. She was happy that someone wanted to invite her to hang out, but she felt terrible right now. Anko smirked. That's why I'm inviting you. I know of your little dilemma with a certain foxboy, and me and my friends can help you out, she said, then leaned in closer to her. That is, unless you want Pinky stealing him away from you, she whispered. How would you be able to help? Asked Yugito, wondering if Anko was serious. Why don't you go get dressed and find out for yourself, smirked Anko as she pushed Yugito into her room. Yugito sighed. I suppose it beats sitting around here crying, she thought as she changed into her normal clothing. Once she was ready, her and Anko left heading towards what Yugito could only assume was Anko's apartment. She glanced over at her new friend. She hoped she really would be able to help her. Eventually they arrived at Anko's apartment. Anko opened the door and walked in. Here she is, girls. Yugito was confused and slowly walked into the apartment. She then noticed two other women sitting down on stools in front of Anko's kitchen counter. One had an ANBU uniform on and had long dark purple hair and dark eyes. The other had some odd dress on that looked like bandages. She had long dark hair and red eyes. So this is the girl you were talking about earlier? Asked Kurenai, looking at Yugito. Yugito was wondering what in the world Anko had told them about her. Yup, this is Yugito, she introduced, and Yugito, the one with the purple hair is Yugao and the other is Kurenai. It's nice to meet you, Yugao-san and Kurenai-san, said Yugito with a smile. Hey, no need to be so formal with them, Yugito-chan. We are all friends here, now sit down and relax, said Anko as she brought Yugito over to the other side of the counter and sat her down on a stool facing the other two women. Anko then handed her a shot of sake, smirking at the younger girl. Here, you can relax, better. Yugito eyed the small cup warily. But I'm underaged. Oh please, if you're old enough to kill, then you're old enough to enjoy sake, now drink, said Anko as Yugito took the small cup. Yugito was about to drink it when Anko stopped her. First let's make a toast, said Anko as they all held up their shots together, to the newest member of Konoha's sexiest women, Yugito-chan. They hit their cups together and took their shots. Yugito choked a bit as she took her first shot of sake. Anko patted her back. Good stuff, right? It's different, she said, glaring at her cup. The other three women giggled. Don't worry, you'll get used to it, said Yugao. Here's another, said Anko as she poured more into Yugito's achoko. So how do you like Konoha so far? Asked Kurenai as Yugito downed her second shot, choking a little less this time. I like it better than my old village, everyone hated me there, she replied. You're from Kumo, right? Asked Yugao. Yeah, she said, pouring more sake for herself. Why did they hate you? Asked Kurenai, curiously. From what she could tell, Yugito was a kind girl, so why would she be hated? The three older girls noticed Yugito's reluctance to answer. You don't have to tell us, but it'll make you feel better if you got these things off your shoulders. We won't think differently of you, said Yugao while Kurenai nodded. Yugito was currently battling herself. Should she tell them her dark secret? She wished she could. Naruto accepted her, but that's obvious. They do accept Naruto, so just maybe. Yugito bit her lip, then grabbed her achoko and took another shot. Okay. I'll tell you, but promise me you won't think any different about me, she asked, looking up at the three girls. They noticed she had so many emotions in her eyes: fear, hope, pain, and what they knew was the want to be accepted. Of course we won't think differently about you, we all have dark things in our past, said Anko, encouraging Yugito. I have the Ennibi no Nakomata S sealed in me, said Yugito quietly, but everyone was able to hear it. All of their eyes widened, none of them were suspecting that. Yugito saw their faces and instantly regretted telling them. Oh no, what have I done? She thought as a tear appeared in her eye. In seconds, Kurenai and Yugao got out of their seats and quickly embraced Yugito in a hug, shocking the young girl. No, don't cry, Yugito, we weren't expecting that, said Kurenai, comforting Yugito. She's right, and we don't think any different about you. You are you and Nibi is Nibi, said Yugao. Yugito was stunned. They actually accept me. A few more tears fell from Yugito's eyes, but these were in joy that there were other people who could accept her for who she is. Thank you guys, why you don't know how much this means to me. We told you it would feel better to let it out, said Yugao, giving a comforting squeeze to the girl's shoulder. Not everyone may accept you, but you won't be the only one various people would glare at, said Anko, getting Yugito's attention. My sensei was Orochimaru. Because of that, and since I have many of his jutsus, I also receive glares of hatred from people who see him in me. I'm sorry that you have to deal with it too. Anko-chan, replied Yugito with a comforting smile. Anko for once gave her a true smile and not a smirk. I think we need another toast, she said as they all quickly poured themselves more shots. Truthfully, at first I wanted to help you with your boy trouble for entertainment, but now, I want to help you truly as your friend. So let's toast to our new start at friendship, finished Anko as all four girls hit their ichokos together shouting, to friendship. Yugito knew this was one of the best moments of her life. For the first time, she had a group of friends who were other girls. After they took their shots, they all sat back down. Anko looked over to Yugito, now it makes a lot of sense. You must know Naruto's secret too, right? Yeah, she said with a smile. He was the first person I ever told my secret to. I was shocked to know he also had a biju in him, said Yugito. The two of you met during his training trip, right? Asked Yugao, receiving a nod from Yugito. Now this is what I want to hear. How did you both meet? Asked Kurenai, leaning over a little bit. Yugito giggled a little bit at Kurenai's antics. She then told them the story of how they first met and got into a fight, then how he saved her from Akatsuki. Whoa whoa whoa. Naruto defeated two Akatsuki to save you? Asked Anko incredulously. Now that she thought about it, none of them did know how strong he had gotten. Yeah. He defeated them and managed to carry me outside of the lightning country while I was unconscious, explained Yugito. That is kind of romantic that he fought so hard to save you, said Yugao. Yugito blushed a little, or had she been blushing the entire time from the sake? Now that she thought about it, with all the emotional talk, she didn't notice that she did feel different. I think Yugito-chan is starting to feel the sake, joked Anko as she slung her arm around the girl. Keep going, encouraged Anko as she gave Yugito more sake. She was now starting to be able to take it better than at first. So after that, she began telling them how they fled from Akatsuki, then arrived in Takigakure and the festival, then how it all ended. Even though she was feeling the alcohol, she managed to skip the whole Sharingan transplant part. When she was done telling the story, the other girls were amazed about Naruto taking out the Akatsuki member and how cute their date in Takigakure sounded. I just don't think he likes me that way though, said Yugito a little downcast. It's hard to say with Naruto. One of my students, Hinata, has been crushing over him for years, and it's obvious to everyone but him. He's just not too swift when it comes to girls, explained Kurenai. You're Hinata-sensei? Why would you be helping me then? Asked Yugito confused. Well, Hinata is not my only student. I have another, Kiba, who I know likes Hinata. If Hinata saw Naruto with another girl she would be hurt, but I know Kiba would be there to help her and go from there, explained Kurenai further. I see, said Yugito, thinking it over. But Naruto is still going out with Sakura tomorrow, she said, hoping one of them had some kind of way to help. Anko smirked. We'll just have to crash it, huh? How? Asked Yugito hopefully. This is what we'll do, said Anko as they all leaned in to listen. Next morning. Sakura. Have you seen Yugito? I don't think she came back last night, shouted Ino from downstairs, noticing Yugito wasn't in her room. Good, replied Sakura as she came down the stairs. Sakura, don't be like that, scolded Ino. What? All's fair in love and war. Besides, I got a date with Naruto-kun tonight, replied Sakura happily as she went into the kitchen to get something to eat. Ino rolled her eyes, but what if she got hurt? I got more important things to think about, Ino. I almost forgot Christmas is in 5 days. I got to find something perfect for him, replied Sakura. Ino just sighed and went back up to her room. 15 minutes before 7. Naruto left his apartment and began making his way towards Sakura's. He decided to listen to her and wear a different outfit. He had on a black button-down dress shirt opened a little at the top so you could see his necklace. He also wore just plain slightly baggy dark-colored jeans. He also wasn't wearing his head protector, allowing his golden locks to fall forward a little. He never noticed the various females eyeing him as he continued. Once he got to Sakura's apartment, he knocked on the door. A few minutes later, she opened the door. Even though Naruto wished she was Yugito, he couldn't help but admit she looked pretty. She wore a white dress decorated with pink flowers. She had pink lipstick on with a little blush and 2 silver hoop earrings. When Sakura saw him, she could almost squeal. What he wore was simple, and with his hair messy like that, he was just hot. "You look nice, Sakura, shall we go?" he said with a smile. Sakura quickly snapped out of her trance and blushed. "Thank you, Naruto-kun, you look incredible yourself." "Let's go," she said excitedly as they began walking down the street. "So where are you taking me?" she asked. "Well, I know you don't like ramen as much as me, so I thought we could go to that new sushi place that opened up, Ichiban Sushi," answered Naruto. "Honestly, I was half expecting you to pick Ichiraku's," she said laughing. "I decided that I could skip for one night," replied Naruto lightly laughing. They soon arrived at the restaurant and were seated at a table for 2. Naruto looked around and noticed everything inside seemed new and had a moderate amount of customers. He also noticed a bar not too far from their table. "Bachan probably already came here," he mused. When the waitress came by, they both ordered tea to start off. When the waitress went to go get their drinks, Sakura decided to start up a conversation. It was too quiet. "So Naruto, during your training trip, did you get to go to a lot of cool places?" she asked. "Yeah, I did actually." He started telling her different places he and Jiraiya had visited. On a roof across the street sat 2 perverted ninjas. "I wonder if anything interesting will happen," said Jiraiya as he spied on his apprentice with his telescope. "Something may happen, I don't know why, but Anko asked me earlier about Naruto's date and where they were going," said Kakashi as he read his book. Back in the restaurant, Sakura started telling Naruto about her training with Tsunade when he saw something that completely shocked him. 4 women just entered the restaurant. One he recognized as Anko, who wore a blue dress. Second he recognized as Kurinai, wearing a red dress. The third was another pretty girl he didn't know with purple hair and a purple dress. But it was the 4th one that drew his attention. It was Yugito with her hair down, wearing a simple little black dress. She wasn't wearing any makeup except for some eyeliner that really gave her an exotic look. And the way that dress hugged the curves of her body and showed a hint of cleavage as it tried to hold up her perfect bust. In Naruto's eyes, he hadn't seen anything more beautiful. Once Sakura noticed she no longer had Naruto's attention, she looked towards where his eyes were and was shocked. Right there was Anko, Kurinai, a girl she didn't know, and Yugito. Sakura then noticed that Naruto's eyes were glued to the blonde. "What does that bitch think she's doing here?" The 4 girls walked towards the bar and sat down. They pretended that they didn't notice Naruto and Sakura. Up on the roof across the street, Jiraiya had a nosebleed as he had a perfect view of the 4 sexy women as they walked in. He was almost tempted to say screw it and join them at the bar. "So that was why Anko wanted to know," said Kakashi. He didn't see that one coming. Back in the restaurant, Sakura was getting more pissed by the second. It was a few minutes ago that Anko and crew walked in, and no matter what she would say to Naruto, his gaze repeatedly kept going back to Yugito. "That fucking tramp is ruining my first date. I hate her." At the bar, Anko was giggling. Her plan was working perfectly. "Wow, he can't keep his eyes off you, Yugito-chan," whispered Yugao. It's embarrassing though," replied Yugito, red in the face that her crush kept staring at her. Don't be embarrassed, Yugito-chan, you should take pride in the ability to do that to Naruto," said Kurinai. "Yeah, look at all that crap Sakura has on, right now she's wishing that she could get Naruto to look at her like that," said Anko. "I know, I'm glad I got his attention, but I'm just not used to it," she said, smiling at her new friends. "From what I can see, you got this in the bag, girl, so you better get used to it, cause once you 2 make it to the bedroom he'll be looking at a lot more," said Kurinai, giving Yugito a wink. Yugito instantly turned scarlet, causing the other 3 to giggle. "Okay, that's enough teasing, Yugito-chan, let's drink to a successful mission," said Yugao. The food had come and gone. Naruto and Sakura had eaten very quietly due to certain distractions. Sakura glared again at Yugito. "That bitch better not think she can show up at my apartment tonight to sleep." Sakura then had Naruto quickly pay as she grabbed his hand and pulled him out of the restaurant in hopes of salvaging at least a little bit of her first date. Once they were outside, Sakura held onto Naruto's arm and leaned her head on his shoulder. I want to stay just like this, no interruptions, no Yugito, no nothing, just me and Naruto. Shortly they made it to Sakura's apartment, where Sakura reluctantly let go of Naruto. I had fun tonight, Naruto, she said with a smile. I would have had fun if that freak didn't show up. I did too, he scratched the back of his head nervously. Sakura was still close to him and looked up at him expectantly, hoping for just one. Yo, said Kakashi as he appeared next to them, startling Sakura. Kakashi-sensei, what are you doing here? She asked, angered even more that she couldn't get a freaking break with Naruto. Jiraiya-senpai needs to speak with you urgently, Naruto, Kakashi said with smile as his eye was in a U shape. He then noticed Sakura was still standing there. She must expect him to leave so she can talk to Naruto again. Allow me to show you to him, he said, still smiling. Okay, well, good night, Sakura, it was fun, waved Naruto as he left with Kakashi. Sakura clenched her fist, grinded her teeth, and wanted to scream. She quickly went inside, slamming the door behind her. For safety reasons, Yugito spent the night at Enko's again. Next morning, Naruto was getting ready to leave his apartment. Sakura had already come over and invited him to her place for dinner. He didn't want to lead Sakura on, but Yugito lived there too, so that was a plus. But before then he wanted to go get a Christmas present for Yugito. When he left his apartment, he felt that the air had gotten colder from yesterday too. Not being too affected by the colder weather, he ran off in the direction of the market. Few hours later, Naruto had finished looking for the present he wanted to get. He was getting it custom made and it should be ready in 2 days, which was right in time for Christmas Eve. He caught sight of Sakura's home approaching it since it was around the time she had asked him to come over. After knocking, Sakura was quick to open the door and invite him in. Aren't you cold, Naruto? She asked as she noticed he was wearing only his standard orange pants and a black t-shirt and it was close to freezing out. Not really, I never get that cold, he answered. He thought it must have something to do with Kyubi. He then entered as Sakura closed the door behind them. You got a nice apartment here, he said as he noticed a room with a closed door by the front of the apartment. He assumed that it must be Yugito's. Yeah, me and Ino got lucky with it, replied Sakura as she finished preparing the spaghetti and meatballs she made for them. Little did she know that the person she despised the most was in her room, getting ready for another sabotage. You want me to go out like this? Asked Yugito quietly. It'll only be for a second, Yugito-chan, replied Yugao. She had managed to sneak them both into the room with a few ANBU tricks and was currently trying to convince Yugito to go out for a split second in something that showed a little more skin than Yugito was used to. Yugito was wearing small black panties with a black see-through baby doll on top that split below her breasts. Come on, Yugito, think of it as like a bikini you would swim in, so go out there and knock your man dead, coached Yugao to the blushing girl. It's only for a split second too. Oh okay, she whispered nervously. Now go cause a nosebleed, girl. Yugao said, patting her on the back. Naruto was sitting at the table as Sakura handed him his plate of food. At that moment, they heard a door open up and when they both looked up, one of them became pissed and the other. Holy shit, was all Naruto could think at the sight before him. Yugito quickly feigned shock and ran back into her room where she let the blush she was fighting back take control of her face. Sakura once again ticked off. When the hell did that whore get in my house? She wasn't there when I checked. She looked over at Naruto, noticing blood hanging from his nose as he just stared off. God damn it. As much as Sakura tried once again, she couldn't seem to snap Naruto back into reality. He had stopped staring off, but it was clear that his mind was somewhere else. Once they were done eating, Naruto left saying he was tired and wanted to train tomorrow. When he left, Sakura immediately went to Yugito's room and busted down the door. Nobody was there. She clenched her fists. If she thinks she can stop me, she's wrong. I'll just have to be more upfront with Naruto. 2 days later, on Christmas Eve, the snow started to fall and the people of Konoha began to relax as one of their favorite holidays drew closer. Naruto, however, was getting anxious. He had just finished picking up the gifts for Yugito and Sakura and was tired from running around. Sakura was also getting anxious. She hadn't seen Yugito since Naruto was over and couldn't be happier about that. She had the perfect plan to claim Naruto and couldn't wait till she saw him. The sun was starting to set and Naruto decided to start making his way towards Sakura's to give the girls their presents. He changed his clothing a little, opting to wear black shinobi slacks with a black long-sleeved top. Naruto arrived at Sakura's apartment and took a deep breath and knocked on the door. At the same time, Yugito left Anko's apartment with her gift for Naruto and couldn't wait to give it to him. It was something she made herself using one of her few hobbies that she got good at during her stay in Kumo. She smiled as she looked down at the box she was carrying. She also couldn't help but laugh at the outfit Anko made her wear. It was a little girl Santa costume. It consisted of a tight little red Santa's jacket, a matching short skirt, which she also had white leggings on underneath to keep her a little warmer. She also had matching little red boots and of course a Santa's hat. She knew it was silly, but it looked cute. Sakura answered the door and saw Naruto. "Hey Naruto-kun," she greeted. "Hey Sakura, I just wanted to stop by and give you your present," he said, handing the pink-haired girl a box. "Oh, thank you so much Naruto-kun," she began opening the box. "After I do this I can give him his present." "I can't wait," she squealed in her head. Once she took off the lid of the box, she looked at what was inside with confusion. She slowly pulled the object out, revealing a book. Naruto sheepishly scratched the back of his head. "I hope you like it." Sakura paled. "Naruto. This is a cookbook? A freaking cookbook? This is the crap he gets me." "Hee well, after I had your spaghetti, I thought you could improve a lot more, so I got you that book. That way you could learn how," explained Naruto. Sakura tried to calm down. "Okay, this is Naruto, remember, he's not the brightest, which is why I have to do this," she thought as she put the book and box down and looked back up at Naruto. "So Naruto-kun, do you want to know what your present is?" "What is it?" he asked curiously at her odd expression. She moved in a little closer to him. "Well, I wanted to get you something special, but knowing you I realized that the best present for you was something I already had," she explained quietly. Confused at what she could have, he asked, "What?" Sakura smiled and stood on her toes. "I'm giving you my love," she said as she leaned in and pressed her lips to his. Naruto's eyes immediately shot open. Sakura reluctantly pulled away from her first kiss. That felt amazing, she thought, saving the texture of his lips to memory. Before Naruto could react from his shock, he heard something hit the ground not far from them. When Naruto turned his head to look in the direction of the sound, he got the next biggest shock. Standing there was a wide-eyed Yugito. Before he could get over the shock from seeing her, he saw a tear fall from her eye as she turned around and sprinted off. "Why Yugito W wait," he shouted, but the fleeing girl didn't listen and quickly was out of sight. Shit, what do I do?" he screamed in his head. Of all the things for Yugito to see, it had to be that. He looked at the box she dropped and ran over to it, picking it up. It read, "To Naruto-kun." He opened the box and noticed a note which he began to read. "I made this by hand for you. It's the same type of cloak your father wore. I know you don't have much from him, but I know you're very proud that he was your dad, and I thought you would like to have something to remember him by. P.S. You look better in black." He pocketed the letter and took out the cloak. He was floored. It was indeed like his father's, but this one was all black with blue flames edged on the bottom, and on the back, stitched in red, was the kanji for his true family name, Namikaze. How long did she spend making this thing? He knew what he needed to do. He quickly threw the coat on him, noticing it even fit him perfectly. "And Naruto-kun, what are you doing?" asked Sakura, fearing his next move. "What does it look like I'm doing?" "I'm going after her," he said, quickly running off in the direction she ran in, ignoring Sakura's yells. Yugito had no idea where she was running. All she knew is that she wanted to get away. I thought he did like me. I can't believe I let myself think that again. I'm such a fool to think someone could feel that way towards me." She started crying as she dropped to her knees when she got to a once grassy area that was now covered by snow. Naruto also didn't know where he was running. She could have gone in any direction, but somehow he just knew he was going the right way. It just felt right to him. "Of course I won't get any credit for that," thought a certain someone. Naruto entered the entrance to the training ground and quickly spotted Yugito on her knees crying. "Yugito," he shouted. She quickly looked up shocked to see him. "No, I gotta get away. It hurts too much," she screamed in her head as she got up and ran again. Wait, Yugito, stop," he yelled after her. Leave me alone, Naruto. It hurts too much to look at you right now," she shouted back at him, hoping he would give up his pursuit. Somehow he managed to catch up to her. Stop for a second, I need to talk to you," he shouted again. "No, leave dash." She managed to let out before Naruto grabbed onto her shoulder, causing her to lose her balance and fall down into the snow with him on top of her. Get off me. Please," she struggled as he held her down. "No, I won't. Listen to me, Yugito," he shouted back at her. "No. Why, you have Sakura. Go back to her. She loves you," she yelled at him. "No. Sakura isn't the one I want," he retorted back. She dared to glance at him. But you two were kissing back there." Naruto shook his head. "She did it, not me." "I didn't want to kiss her," he replied. She stayed silent. "Are you calmed down now? I want to give you your present," he said as she slowly nodded her head. Naruto let her sit up as he reached into his back pocket and pulled out a small box. "Here, I really hope you like it." She took the gift and slowly opened it and gasped at it. She pulled out a silver necklace with a gold heart-shaped locket attached. The locket had the Kyubi and Nibi engraved on the front. "And Naruto, this is," she said before Naruto cut her off. "Open it," he said, interrupting her, smiling at her confused face. She undid the little lock on the ornament, opening it up, and gasped again. Tears started to form in her eyes as she saw a picture of the two of them that had been taken during the festival in Takigakure. She then looked at the other side and engraved in it was, "I'll always be here for you." Those simple words meant so much to her, someone who had been alone nearly her entire life. She quickly looked up at Naruto, teary-eyed. "Naruto-kun, this. You have no idea how much this means to me," she said, as happy as she thought she could ever be. "There's also something else," he said as she continued to look at him. "You don't have to worry about Sakura anymore," he continued while she looked at him, wondering what he was going to say. He then leaned in closer to her, hoping this would end well. "The one I love is you, ni Yugito," he whispered, then leaned in more, claiming her lips. This was all for now. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked it and that you will be back for more. Please like, share and subscribe. See ya.